Today on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, we highlight a valuable resource for women and minority-owned businesses right here in Hampton Roads. Plus, we'll tell you how successful companies are embracing millennials and a quick, easy, and free way for your company to host webinars. It's all next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Cheryl Tan.
And I'm Zach Miller. Welcome to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Starting and running a business can be tough, but there are organizations right here in Hampton Roads ready to lend a helping hand.
The Virginia Beach Department of Economic Development offers guidance to small businesses and will host a SWAM forum designed to serve small, women-owned and minority-owned businesses. Here's one of the organization's success stories, Cheer Factory. Shonda Brandon, the founder of Cheer Factory Inc. in Virginia Beach, started her business 9 years or so ago.
Yes.
What was the catalyst? Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Well, my passion is cheerleading. As a former cheerleader myself and turned cheer mom, I always wondered, where do you get these items from? There wasn't a place that you could actually walk in and find what you need for your cheerleader. And everyone knows a cheerleader. There are cheerleaders everywhere, so why wasn't there a place for cheerleaders to shop? And that's where Cheer Factory came into play.
So you created your solution.
We created a solution, yes.
You actually then switched from a retail environment to a manufacturing. Talk about how that shift happened and what you needed to learn to start a manufacturing company in your hometown of Virginia Beach.
Sure. The store certainly helped in that process, and it was a natural transition. In order to stay and survive through the recession, we learned that a lot of the products, if we needed them quick and on time and to be trend forward and ready for the customer, we'd have to learn to create. So we did just that. We used the employees, the younger staff, to know, what's trend forward, what's the now item. And collectively, we began to manufacture products in the back of our Greenbrier Mall location. We just outgrew that space as our products began to just become known around the country. And we had partners like Amazon come on board and begin to buy from us. So we transitioned to Virginia Beach into a facility that we can now manufacture, produce products, ship, receive, and also still have a showroom for our local customers to still come and visit.
That's quite a change from a store.
I'll say.
In a mall.
Yes, yes.
What kind of help did you have along the way? I know we talked earlier about SWAM, the small women-owned and minority organization, but how do organizations like that help you?
I can say upon our arrival in Virginia Beach, the city's Economic and Development Department has been great. They hold forums each year where we've been put in front of some of the big box retailers and had an opportunity to work with and talk about our products being in other locations. In addition to that, there's a women's business center that I would have never known about had we not been a SWAM vendor, where we were able to forge new relationships there. And we have a mentor in the city who has a huge business himself, and someone we can all, we can call and get information on those questions that, arise that you just don't have the answers to right away. In addition to that, there's funding available for small businesses that we knew nothing about. And again, the SWAM program put us in front of opportunities for us to apply for certain funding or loans that our business certainly qualified for.
I think a lot of businesses feel like maybe the way you did, where there's a sea of opportunity, but you're not really sure how to grab it. So is this a worthwhile effort to maintain those relationships, to even start those relationships to grow your business?
Absolutely. Like I said, we've forged so many new relationships, the networking opportunities, just like you said, positions that you never would have been in without these extra opportunities, and they're out there and available for us.
How can you best maximize that, though? I mean, even if there are opportunities, you have to know how to get them. So even when you're in the space, what tips would you give to future entrepreneurs or current ones who need a little help? How would you help them with that?
First, you have to show up, because you can't get anything if you're not present. The opportunity can't be available to you. And follow through, just like with any customer relationship. If you say you're going to do something or if something's asked of you, make sure that it's done. And in addition, pay attention to the details. We pride ourselves at Cheer Factory with that, with every customer experience, but it's just as important with your external, your internal and your external customer relationships.
Shonda, Brandon, thank you very much for your time.
Millennials, they're one of the largest segments of our population. And coming up next, how companies need to deal with them when it comes to customer service.
Welcome back. Let's jump into a segment we call Customer Service 101. I sat down with Dr. Kathleen Patterson, a professor at Regent University School of Business and Leadership, to talk about millennials and customer service. A lot of people are worried about millennials and they're too entitled or it's hard to work with them. What about millennials and customer service?
Fascinating question, and this is an issue all businesses are dealing with. 70% of organizations have millennials already creeping in, and by 2020, it's going to be pretty full-blown with the millennial mindset.
Sure.
We have to pay attention to what's going on with millennials. Pew Research showed just last week that millennials don't trust their leaders. They don't trust what's going on in the business world.
Why is
There's
that?
only 19% of a trust level. The reason is because millennials are smart. They're savvy. They have the internet. They have their friends. They have these huge community networks, national networks, global networks. They know what's going on, and a lot of times they can double check what's happening in the organization.
Sure. And quicker, right? So
Absolutely,
we've been
instantaneous.
Right. And so I grew up learning how to type on a typewriter. And I was telling you earlier that my brother and sister have no idea what a typewriter is. And now even the youngest of millennials only really worked on mobile phones. So we have to really think about the context of how that looks. So, but it's a great thing because they're very knowledgeable and they can fact check and do those things. Folks that are afraid of millennials, is it because the fear that they might take over, or what are you seeing as to that's happening?
Isn't it fascinating? I love this stuff. When millennials come in, they are so savvy and so knowledgeable that they want to tell you as the leader, as the boss, what we should be doing. And that can be a rub that has not really been experienced with older generations, such as my generation. We would go into the workplace, into the business world, and do what we were told and be so thrilled to be there. Millennials arrive at the door so savvy, so knowledgeable, but guess what? They really just want to help the organization be everything that it can be.
So a lot of companies are seeing it as a deterrent when really it's a positive thing that people really want to be involved. They want to go all in, but they're taking the context the wrong way. How could maybe a larger or smaller company understand that the millennials aren't entitled when in fact they're just trying to be a huge team player and make it happen better?
And what you're speaking to is this duplicitous mindset with millennials. Sometimes they are viewed as entitled narcissists, and sometimes they're viewed as the hope for the world. They care about social issues, they care about justice, they care about fairness, equity, all these kinds of things. And business leaders really need to harness this duplicitous approach. And if we as leaders can harness what is going on with that mindset, we have opened up the power for the world. The thing about millennials is if we invite them in, if we listen to them, if we engage with them, if we're trusting with them, they give it all back.
Sure. Well, they might be only 25% of us right now, but they're 100% of the future, right?
They are 100%.
And so what I like to tell people is, one time you were that rebel too. And so you guys might be getting angry or thinking that people are entitled, or the entitled narcissist, I think you said. It's, you were once that too. So allow, and you will be able to get successful, allow that to happen again, like you did and you were asking for years ago.
But you have, as a leader, in a business organization, you have to let your guard down a little bit to allow that to happen. Time magazine did a fascinating article a few years ago, and it was on the cover, and it was me, and it was about the entitled nature of the millennial generation coming through. But what leaders really need to focus on is harnessing that potential. It's grand potential, but you have to invest yourself into these people. You have to get to know them. You have to love them, encourage them, but that's the power of any business.
Embrace. Great.
Next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, our Entrepreneur of the Week reveals how he attracts and keeps his top talent, and an easy and free way to host webinars. Hampton Roads Business Weekly continues next.
It is time for our Entrepreneur of the Week. Here we highlight local business owners to learn what advice they have for other entrepreneurs.
I spoke with Blake White, president of Endurance IT. We spoke about ways to find and, more importantly, keep great talent.
Blake White, Endurance IT Services. Congratulations, you're Entrepreneur of the Week.
Thank you for having me today,
Absolutely.
Zach.
What is Endurance?
Well, great question. So Endurance is a IT services firm focused around computer networking services, servicing small, medium, and large business with a 100% focus on Hampton Roads.
How did you guys get started?
Another great question. So my partner and I had worked for a Fortune 500 IT company for about 15 years together. And they had a Hampton Roads operation, closed the Hampton Roads division office, and we both took the great leap at that point in time, saw a great opportunity.
So you guys were already invested in the area and you knew networking infrastructure, but that Fortune 500 leaves, you guys jump in there. What were maybe the top 3 things, the hurdles to actually starting that company?
Well, the first was taking the leap off the mountain. That both of us had ran departments or practices within other very large companies. You know, to go out and start your own business, it was quite frightening at first.
Yeah.
So that was challenge number 1. Number 2 was capital. So the two of us leveraged our 401ks and reached into those, got startup capital, and took the leap.
So you had some available cash flow basically to do that thing, and then you raised a little bit of money. Is that?
No, both pulled from our 401ks.
Both pulled those things. Okay.
Yeah.
And so for someone that maybe is starting a company and thinking about doing that, how could they kind of maximize their ongoing money from a company right now? Looking at a 401k, maybe trying to increase credit card things, how would you do that today?
Certainly 401k, as we did. Also, as early as possible, start to establish a line of credit with a local bank. We chose one that was local because they're also vested in Hampton Roads. Even start out with a small line of credit and then work that up as you grow.
I think what's interesting about the show is that banking thing has come up a lot, and a lot of people starting a business, they don't actually think about the banking aspect of it. How did you establish a relationship with that banker or that bank?
Well, we had some guidance from a lot of, all of us have typically a pool of mentors. I had one that said, immediately, reach out to a local bank, establish that relationship. I'd give that same advice to any entrepreneur. The sooner the better. Even if you don't need it day one, get that relationship going because it's going to be important one day.
What have been some of the struggles over the years for Endurance?
Probably our number one challenge, and it's even today, Zach, is finding qualified talent. The talent pool, as we've discussed in the past, sometimes leaves Hampton Roads, and we want to keep that talent here. Finding talent as at the pace that we continue to grow. It's been our number one challenge.
So as you guys are growing, it's hard for you guys to find the talent to get there. What are some ways that you guys have tried to find that talent and keep them and have a company culture that's one that they would want to stay here for?
Yeah. Well, company culture is number one, and we've invested quite a bit in that. We've been best places to work in Virginia, both Hampton Roads, year after year, and it takes a lot of time and effort to do that. So I'd say start there. Second, reach out to the local universities, try to attend job fairs, also reach into their career development departments. They're a great asset. We also just do a lot of advertising, Facebook, LinkedIn, and any other medium that we can find to advertise for candidates.
So advertising not just for people to use your services, but also advertise that you guys are hiring and looking for a specific type of technician or what be.
Absolutely.
What's maybe the most rewarding thing that's happened over the years for you, maybe personally or as a business?
Yeah, so probably personally, it's being in control of my destiny. As an entrepreneur, as much as you put into your company, you get back out of that company. So I was one that was always leading the charge in other companies when I ran departments or practices. So it's nice to get that reward immediately back. Secondly, giving back to the great community I grew up in. I mean, I'm from Norfolk, and being able to give back to Hampton Roads has been a big reward.
I think what a lot of people that may be watching don't think a lot is you do have a lot more control over your destiny than maybe you don't think. How do you stay positive through the tough times that you've gone through? Knowing that you can control that destiny if you just keep pushing through.
Yeah, tough question. One, I'll tell you, you need to set the stage early up front with friends, family, specifically spouse or significant other, that it's going to be a hard road and early on. And just prepare everyone as best you can. Just stay positive every single day. I mean, every day brings a different challenge. It might be a client issue one day, employee problem the next day. Stay positive and just keep charging forward. Every day's a learning experience too.
Yep. Your first investor, I've always been told, is your significant other. If they can't get in, then you got to work something out. Blake, congratulations on being Entrepreneur of the Week, and best of luck.
Thank you, Zach. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Interact with your customers online. We'll show you how to conduct free webinars through your YouTube page. It's next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly.
We are back with more Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Earlier in the show, Shonda Brandon of Cheer Factory talked about the SWAM Business Forum and the opportunities she gained by attending. The 2015 SWAM Business Forum will be held September 30th at Tidewater Community College in Virginia Beach. I spoke with the host, Councilwoman Dr. Amelia Ross Hammond, about what attendees can expect this year.
Just the excitement that people can connect on a one-to-one basis with these major stakeholders. For example, at this one, we're going to have AGL, which is a parent company of Virginia Natural Gas, and they're going to talk about the process of how suppliers, these major suppliers, can connect with these small businesses through their diversity program. So this is important. Instead of being in a room of 300 to 500, you have a nice intimate setting where you can reach out after, and we do allow that time.
If you want more information about the upcoming SWAM Forum, you can go to yesvirginiabeach.com. Now take a look at some more business events and meetups coming up.
Our social marketing expert, Naomi Doraguzzi, is back with some more great tips on how to host a webinar.
This is Naomi Doraguzzi with AskNaomi.com, and if you're running a small business or running a website, more than likely you're going to need to host some sort of a webinar eventually. And these can be done for training or tutorials or to do a quick group meeting. There's a lot of reasons why you might need to do a webinar, but there's so many different programs out there. I like Google Hangouts on Air. It's the difference between Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts on Air allows you to have up to 10 presenters, but you can have unlimited amount of viewers. It also streams seamlessly with your YouTube channel, so you can present live if you're trying to reach a wide audience. The only downfall about Google Hangouts on Air is that you can't register users as far as grabbing their emails or having an online chat. So there's an option you can do, which is called Webinar on Air, which syncs with the Google Plus Hangouts on Air, where you can actually add more features, and it's only $25 for up to 25 users for the Webinar on Air. The Google Hangouts on Air is free, but the only downfall again is you can't register those users. So if you're looking for that other added feature, try Webinar on Air, and you can grab their emails, you can even sell products online, you can have the chat feature, grab a lot more features on there that the Google Hangouts on Air doesn't offer. So it's all about what features you're looking for. If you're just starting out, I would probably recommend Google Hangouts on Air to start your webinars and kind of get the feel of what you might be needing it for your business. If you have any questions, go to AskNaomi.com.
That's all for this week's Hampton Roads Business Weekly. You can find the show on Facebook and Twitter at HR Business Weekly or at hrbusinessweekly.com.
For Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We'll see you next week.